Good morning, everybody. It is game day, and goodness me, we've got to bring that positivity back, haven't we? It's been a drab month for Leeds United. Unfortunately, it's been one of those things that's been primed up by the last week where Leeds have really struggled against Swansea and Luton, of which, if you'd have asked me a month ago, I'd have said they're absolute bankers. Connor, absolute bankers that we're going to win those games, but it hasn't happened. Leeds United are almost at ground zero, it feels right now, in comparison to the rest of the season. We've been so good throughout the rest of the season. You're kind of looking at a 9-10 point average in terms of every 12 points available. Leeds have been so consistent, really, over the full season. At the pivotal point, we've dropped off, but it's game day. The sun is shining. We've got to put all that to the side. And we've just got to hope that Leeds can get the job done. I mentioned not long ago that I think this is a game that Leeds can definitely win. I looked at Luton. I looked at Portsmouth. I did look at QPR with a bit of a raised eyebrow in the predictions we did with Jim and Joe from Turfcast around about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And I thought Luton was going to be one where we'd stumble, Portsmouth or QPR. I thought we might drop points there. But unfortunately, it's been a little bit more than that. So today, we're going to be getting into the Borough game. We're going to be looking ahead at the preview. Like always, everybody, make sure you're checking out Match Bingo as well. We're going to be getting into that tonight. It's going to be a really interactive sort of game of which you guys can get involved in, and it's really, really good stuff. Also, we're sponsored by Shop G&O, as you guys know, your e-commerce site that's coming to your sound waves on the 5th of May. Make sure you get involved, everybody. The first 50 registered users get a £25 membership absolutely free. How about that? And you get signed up for a raffle. One of you is going to win 100 quid as well. So get involved, everybody. Link in the description below. The Job Match Group as well sponsors this video. The Job Match Group tailors your specific job needs as well. You know, you can, I was searching on there the other day for my little brother. You can do an F1 job search. You can do a football job search. You can do club specific. It's absolutely brilliant. Make sure you get involved. Link in the description below. So today I wanted to get into sort of the tactics of what we're going to be looking at when it comes to this game in particular. I wanted to speak on where I think Leeds are going to potentially gain an advantage. I'm going to be speaking on as well where I think Borough could be a little bit problematic, but also where I think they're going to be starting certain personnel, but where Leeds can definitely get at them as well. So this is kind of what I'm going for tonight. This is what I think Leeds are going to start with. I think it's going to be Darlow in net, Bogle, Rodon, Ethan at the back, Junior Firpo, Tanaka Gruev, because this is our only option now. I'm going to actually move him there for obvious reasons. Nonto in the 10, Peru, James, and Solomon. Now, look, would I be starting this? You guys absolutely know, and there's no point in going over it again and again and again. But the reason I do the One Leeds fan channel, and I get lots of people on with differing views, from Brownie to Gabe, from my dad to Tom and Matt and Steve, is because it's a variance of opinion. We don't want it to be an echo chamber. What I'm trying to do is get people on who have a varying level of views. We'll be getting Jur on hopefully in the next couple of weeks as well. KG maybe in the next month or so. We're going to be getting Brownie on as well. And listen, it's to get, I want to get a difference of opinions from everyone. If it's positive, if it's negative, if you're in the middle, I don't want this to be an echo chamber. So that's why we've been getting loads of people on the last week. We've been getting their views, and it's been really nice to have, like, you know, a bit of an eclectic mix as well on the Patreon and on the main channel. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I know there's a little bit of negativity and pessimism and hurt at the minute with Leeds United, but as everybody's been saying to me, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and today is a massive day. And everybody is quite correct, because the points tally is what it is. We can bring it into context and say, look, we've won 1 in 6, but the context doesn't matter when you're a point behind, I guess. And that's what I'm trying to just think today. Doesn't matter. We're still a point behind, 18 points to play for. Just take everything you've seen, put it to the side, and we've just got to look at Borough now, haven't we? So that's where we're at. Okay, but let's get into what we were just speaking about at the very beginning there. Okay, so let's start with Borough. Okay, so Giles, massive in this game. Absolutely massive in this game. And I've not put a little arrow on him. I was going to put a little arrow on him getting forward here, but I've taken them off. And I think that's because Borough naturally like to press a little bit high. The build up from the back, they can sometimes be susceptible with a little bit of a high line. You're going to see Vandenberg, Howson Dijksteel up here in particular. Dijksteel has been really impressive for Borough, I feel, this season, and a little bit of a combination between him and Finn Azaz here. You're going to see this a little bit throughout this game. Solomon, unlike at Luton, where, in my opinion, he was at fault for the goal, he's got to be a lot more disciplined in getting back here, getting in front of Dijksteel and actually helping Junior Firpo out. So the beautiful thing about Dijksteel getting forward here, and this is where I'll be honest, everybody, I would have liked to have seen this, because I feel like this would be a consistent problem for Dijksteel. I think you'd have to get Hackney coming over here and Howson trying to split up Ramazani with Dijksteel getting forward with Finn Azaz. And I don't think he is the most disciplined defender, I'll be honest with you. I think he loves attacking a little bit more. But I think that pace in and around there would cause the likes of Johnny Howson, who would have to cover an absolute nightmare, just frightful pace. That's not going to happen. Solomon is going to be in there. And I think Solomon, what you're naturally going to see is even Dijksteel, if he is back here defensively, what we're going to see is with Manos Solomon is him getting the ball, as we know, and just pivoting in here. Okay, so if you're getting Peru in this position, naturally, which you do see a lot when Leeds are building up with attacks, and even when Solomon has the ball, this is where you need to start seeing Willie Gnonto making these sorts of runs, which we've seen previously before, especially against the likes of Borough, and Gnonto getting in between the centre-backs, which I think is going to be pivotal today, because I think you are going to get the likes of, Peru sort of dropping deep, which we've seen a hell of a lot. So really interesting when it comes to Dijksteel, and is he going to be disciplined? Is he not going to be disciplined? Is he going to bomb on forward? You can see the arrow there. I do think they're going to try and attack Leeds in this one. So I think, the discipline of Solomon's got to be key as well, because there's a lot of people on this right-hand side, this man in particular, whose delivery is absolutely exceptional from wide areas. And I think he's going to be a big problem. I think he's one of the best players in the Championship, especially in a midfield capacity. So Dijksteel, Howson. I wanted to touch on Johnny Howson a little bit. He's key in building up from the back for Middlesbrough. Him and Morris are exceptional at just dictating that pace. Hackney being involved there as well. And these are a little bit of a trio when it comes to building out from the back. So Leeds pressing on Johnny Howson. I think that's where Leeds will get a little bit of joy. The beauty about Johnny Howson is how good he is on the ball. And if Howson's able to move the ball here and Leeds are pressing a little bit high, they split the lines, you could have a scenario where it's Morris here on the ball, Hackney a little bit further advances, which is what Borough like to do. And then it becomes a 2v2 duel. So, yeah, I think for this one in particular, pressing on Johnny Howson, which is why I have said this a few times, I think this man in here, just basically for this press, would have been very interesting for this game in particular, because I think Johnny Howson, every single time he gets the ball, which is where they facilitate build-up through this man, I would love to see Joseph just absolutely pressing on him. Gnonto making a further action on Vandenberg, especially, who's just come in fresh for this one as well, with Borges injured. But if Johnny Howson's able to play that ball just in there to Morris, obviously Leeds are going to have a little bit of problem. They're going to figure that out. But I would like to see our pressing action be a little bit braver in this game. I don't think it's going to be brave. I think it's going to be a little bit maybe passive and a little bit more controlled. And you're going to see Leeds do this when Howson has the ball. I think you're going to see Solomon just in front of Dijksteel there. I think you're going to see Tanaka here, just protecting, and Greb just very aware of Iheanacho here. So I think this is how Leeds are going to set up a little bit when they have the ball. Obviously, we're not going to see Joseph in there. We're going to see Peru in there. And I think you're going to get Dan James just in here. So I think this is a likely scenario. What I'd like to see is pressing actions where Leeds are on Howson's touch. You've got Gnonto just splitting Morris and Vandenberg here, and maybe Tanaka just pressing up a little bit on Morris there. And if we can break the press high up like this, if we can break this press, are Borough going to be that good to split Leeds United's press? I don't think they would be. I think Leeds are going to get a lot of ball recoveries in there, and we're going to be able to get that first goal pretty quickly. Okay, so something else I wanted to focus on in particular as well was, obviously we've mentioned Solomon and Dijksteel. That's going to be a key battle. But Giles here. Now, I've not highlighted Giles going forward that much. I've highlighted Giles just in a bit of a neutral position. I think, as you can see, the forward action here of Johnny Howson, the forward action of Dijksteel. I think this is where they're going to try build up through Howson, Dijksteel and Hackney, and obviously Finn Azaz, a quality player there. On the right-hand side, Leeds have got to be careful there. So I think that's where their most creative and productive action is. But I think on this left-hand side, I think they're going to be a little bit more cautious. I think the build-up is going to be facilitated on this right-hand side because I think they're going to be a little bit wary of James and Bogle. I think this is Leeds' strongest side in build-up and through recovery as well with James's defensive actions. You've got Illing Jr. in there, who I believe is going to start on this left flank. Finn Azaz, you've got Azaz who can work along that three. There could be Illing Jr., there could be Bergzorg in here, and they've got Morgan Whittaker as well. But I do think he's going to stick with Illing Jr. on this left flank. This is where Leeds are going to be strongest. So if Giles is, let's say, bombing on forward, this is where, and this happened in the first game as well, James can absolutely kill them. James gets on this side. Peru has to be in here. Anytime Dan James gets the ball, I don't want to see Peru out here. He's got to be gambling. This is what we're not seeing from Joel Peru enough of, in my opinion. If Giles is too high up, James has the ball here. And for me, this is the action. James normally knocks the ball out of his feet. I want to see Solomon in there. I want to see Peru in there gambling. This is what we're not doing enough of at the minute. There's too many occasions where James has the ball here, the ball's played in, and Peru's here. And if Peru is there, fine. I need to see Willian Yonto in there gambling as well. Balls flooded in the box, which we're not seeing enough of at this moment in time. So I think James is going to be the big thing for Leeds tonight. A real major facilitator in us getting forward. He still had, 2 goal contributions in 6, the most out of our front line. So I think he's going to be a main contributor. But I do think Giles, as I've just noted here, won't be bombing forward as much. I think Vandenberg's going to be very aware here as well of the cover. I think Borough are going to try build up on this right-hand side. This is where obviously Nonto has to be aware, has to be positionally aware as well in and around this area, just being a little bit more protective of Hackney and Morris. And to be honest, this guy, from a defensive perspective, makes a lot of sense. I'm not just going to put that action on him there. But this guy, from a defensive perspective, when you've got the energy of Hackney and Morris in here as well, and the ball playing ability at championship level of Johnny Howson, he makes a lot more sense. You haven't got that defensive awareness now of that strength in that midfield of Ethan Ampadu. Gruev in there isn't as combative, athletic, physical, and generally as good. Aaronson does make a lot of sense here, but as Farker said the other day, he plays football games to win. Willian Yonto has to start this game. Going a little bit further forward, Azaz has got a ridiculous amount of goal contributions in this game. He's going to be getting the ball and I don't think, effectively looking to take on Junior Firpo. It's not really Azaz's style. But I think if he does start on the right-hand side, if Firpo is bombing up, which you're probably going to get with Solomon cuts inside naturally with the ball, as we see here. This is what he does a lot. If Dyke steals, pressing on him as well. Firpo, we know what's going to be happening here. The ball's going to be played here. What I need from Junior Firpo when he's on the ball is for it not to hit that first man and go out for a corner. I need him to hit Peru a little bit more often. I need him to hit Nonto a little bit more often, but that's just a separate thing. I think Azaz has got to be disciplined in this game as well. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets behind Junior Firpo, because Azaz has got the quality to absolutely kill Leeds. Tommy Conway up top here, Rodon and Ampadu, I feel, are going to come up against, it's a 4-2-3-1 Borough play, but I think it's going to be more of a 4-2-4 in attack. I think you're going to see Iheanacho pressing on Rodon's touch, which we know when Joe has the ball, this is where he's probably going to be trying not to hit Bogle, because I think Illan Jr. is going to press high on Bogle. He's going to try hit James. That's why I think James and Ryan Giles the big battle today. Conway's one to keep an eye on. He's got a goal against Blackburn as well. But interestingly enough for this one, everybody as well, something I wanted to touch on when it comes to the availability. This back line is completely different. You've got 3 of that back line. Actually, Giles been in. Actually, it's 2 of the back line is changed. There's 6 changes in this Borough side for the one that played against Leeds United last time. And Leeds had a back line last time of Bogle, Rodon, Strauch and Verba, so it's a little bit better there. But obviously in the last game where we beat them 3-1 at Ellen Road, we did have Rothwell and Tanaka in here who were playing really well. We had Aaronson here, James there, Solomon there, and Peru there as well, I believe. So there's conversations for each and every player in this one. I have got a feeling that with Borough's injuries and with Leeds hopefully on this little arc right now, and just getting back to winning ways, I'm hoping this is going to be a win. I said last night, my head is saying a Borough win, but my heart is saying a Leeds win. I am going to change. I'm going to be a flip-flop for this one. Leeds are going to win this one 2-1. It's going to be tight, but we're going to hit them. And hopefully with the utilisation of substitutes and some of our players stepping up for this one, Leeds are going to win the game. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As I say, like, comment, and subscribe. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you on the other side. Cheers.